The hookless wheel situation is going around the internet again with some big name YouTube channels talking about it. Bike Radar did a video talking about hookless equals scam. Over at Silcavello, you had Josh over there saying how he doesn't like hookless wheels on the road application as well. And I'm going to be talking to you guys today about my stance on this situation as well. Who am I? My name is GC Performance, or Grant, and I worked in the bicycle industry for 15 years. Our shop has been there for 40 years. And I deal with working on bicycles every single day, daily. So where you might have a situation or an application at your house where you ride your one bike and you don't have any issues, that's great. You might ride in a bunch ride. That's great. I deal daily with people who have issues with bikes and bring me their problems directly. And I will tell you guys my situation and what I've seen in the past with these hookless wheels. Now, not all hookless wheels are going to break. And that doesn't mean that you have one bad instance that all the wheels are bad. There's just too much there for the non-benefit to be there to not make it make sense. And I think that hookless road wheels at such a high PSI and such a narrow internal rim width, it's not making sense. Now there's situations out there like you have Team UAE who dominates on hookless wheels. But we'll talk about that in just a second because they added a micro hook to the wheels. But there's always these people. Team Legion ride Zip. They have Zip wheels. They ride them with no issues as well. There's always situations where they will arise. And that doesn't mean that every single wheel is going to fail, but there's too many things left up to negligence of consumers, and there's too many things left up to bad tolerances from manufacturers for the tires being made over and over and over again, trying to hit this really light weight, and also maybe tolerances for these rim manufacturers, and then also consumer knowledge as well for it to not make sense. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my experience with hookless, what I've seen, customer situations, what I think about it, and then also we'll finish it up with the situation about hookless in terms of other platforms like mountain bikes, gravels. People always say cars, airplanes, and we'll talk about all that stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy. So if you guys have not seen my channel, I've talked about hookless so much, I've made a ton of videos, almost to the point where people have basically gotten to the comment section and told me to shut up about it. They say, hey, I ride hookless, I don't have any issues with it. That's fine. Sometimes you don't have any issues with it. Just like I always give the example, when a company puts out a recall for their refrigerators to stop working, it doesn't mean every single person has a problem with it. It's just enough people have a problem with it to where they deem it that it needs to be recalled. So basically in my situation at my store, I have to sell a customer product I feel comfortable in backing in. I have to make sure that whatever product I'm selling them is something that I feel safe of putting my stamp of approval on. And in the situation of hookless wheels, when they first were brought up to us for road hookless wheels situation, I think it was about 4 years ago, wheels got introduced on the market, and they got introduced as they are a lighter weight. They are going to be cheaper to manufacture, so the consumer will see a cheaper end product as well. And they're more durable as well because they don't have that crimp on the end, so they can take a bigger beating if you do get pinch flats or hit curbs and stuff like that. Since that situation happened, and also they say they're more aerodynamic as well, but whatever. Since that situation has happened, some of the most expensive wheels on the market are hookless. There are wheels out there on the market that are lighter weight with hooks on them, like for instance Scope wheels. Scope wheels make a very lightweight hooked wheel at crazy depths. And also we have seen more issues, I would say, compared with hookless wheels in terms of durability than non-hookless wheels. So I usually have customers, I have really good friends of mine who have tried hookless wheels, and here's the issue. Usually hookless wheels have a PSI range of like a max of 72 PSI, maybe 80 PSI. Right here, hookless road wheel will be 72.5 PSI. Now for instance, my situation, I went to Silica tire calculation. I ride a 700 by 30C tire. When it bulges out, it goes to 31. My tire pressure is recommending is 71.5, 71.5 for that depth of wheel. So if I'm riding a hookless wheel on that, that's fine. Now, in the situation of South Florida, it is incredibly hot right now. It's about 95 degrees midday. Sometimes people go out and ride midday. When you ride on those roads, those tires heat up, and what that can do is that can increase your air pressure and put it over the maximum rated PSI on there so it can blow off. I've had situations of one of my customers who was a really good friend of mine who rode his bike from his house, rode it about 15 miles to a turnaround point, got off his bike to go ahead and fill up his water bottle. When he came back, both his tires were blown off because of the fact of the heat of the situation. No explanation for it. It was just a hookless wheel and hookless tire. Since me also being so vocal about the hookless wheels, I have had numerous people send me pictures, situations, DMs on Instagram of their experience with hookless tires. One application of one of my buddies saying he bought X wheel, he put it on, inflated it to the recommended PSI, let it sit, walked away, get some coffee, came back, tire exploded in the living room. Went ahead, got it warrantied out, got a new wheel, got a new tire, recommended PSI, walked away, came back, blew up in his living room. He did it to the point where it was 3 or 4 times where the company didn't have a solution for him and they just recommended giving him a refund for the wheels and going somewhere else in that situation. I've also seen a lot of customers come into my store that are unknowingly don't have the knowledge on hookless wheels. So they don't know that you need to run a certain tire. They don't know that you need to run a certain tire width, and they don't need to know you run a certain tire pressure. Numerous times I've seen people running a hookless wheel with a tubed tire at like a 25C or a 28C with a tube in there at like 100 PSI, which is very scary. And then I tell them that, and then I say, hey, you have to buy this specific tire for these. Then they're looking at me like I'm the bad guy because I just recommended $200 in tires, 100 for front, 100 for rear, and they have to change their application. Yeah, so that's pretty bad. And then also, like I said, the tire tolerances. Hookless wheels in this situation really work when the tire is a steel bead on there and it's a standalone tire. For instance, car tire picture, standing alone. Car tires are hookless situations. They make car tires extremely heavy, and if you put a car tire standing up, it will not fold like a bicycle tire. We want everything in this world now to be crazy lightweight, crazy performance, and basically how a hookless wheel works is it's basically friction, it's pressure, it's air pressure pushing that tire against the rim wall. So this car tire has a massive wire bead which will apply that friction, and this tire is heavy enough to where it can be a standalone shape. When you have a very soft folding tire and a minimal wire bead working for a hookless, any type of maybe puncture, maybe a little bit of air loss to lose some of that friction can cause that thing to blow off. Same with airplane tires as well. If you wanted a hookless to really succeed for, I think, road bike tires, you would need to get a non-foldable steel wire tire to make that application work. Again, not saying that not all of them don't work, because there are plenty of people that ride hookless now that don't have any issues. I've ridden hookless wheels in the past as well. I didn't have any issues on them at that point, but I just never felt confident enough in that situation. Here is a good looking diagram of what it looks like. This says non-tubeless with hooks. So there is hooks on the tire, which would in turn bead in with the wire bead on the tire itself, so they have a nice grab. Tubeless with hooks, and then tubeless hookless. It's basically a straight rim wall in there where the bead of the tire meshes onto there. So again, loss of friction, or let's just say these manufacturers are over making tires, and I've even done videos on this in the past. All their tires are not the same. I have weighed the exact same tire in the exact same application. And one tire will come in at 250 grams and one tire will come at 272 grams. I've seen even some crazy ones of 250 grams to 290 grams. What that means is that one tire has more material, one tire might be a little bit wider hole or wider opening compared to the other tire, and there's too many tolerances for it to not be machined properly for that tire to maybe work on there. So that's where a customer might have an incident with a blow off on there. But also, just in my store as well, some of the bikes I sell are stocked with tubeless on there, and we make them work. But again, like I said, you're very limited to what tires you can run there. So in terms of like a clincher tire or a clincher wheel compared to it, which I've always ridden was a clincher wheel, the clincher wheels now are so up to almost perfection that you can run tubeless, you can run tube, you can run whatever tire you want for the application, you can run whatever air pressure you want for the application, you can run the same width tire that you will run on your hookless. Some people would say that their hookless platform, because the tire doesn't have that, because the rim doesn't have that crimp on the end of it, it has a better face from tire to rim on there, and it adds better aerodynamics. That is way too specific and way too marginal. That doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, I would assume that a hookless tire is usually heavier because there's more material there. And it probably has less tire deformity to manipulate that tire into a better aerodynamic position compared to maybe like a tube tire in that situation, or just a regular tubeless tire. But in all honesty, that whole aerodynamics for the hookless tires, it doesn't register to me like the benefit that you think. And that's my biggest thing, is that there is no crazy benefit. If they came out with hookless wheels and they said, hey, with these hookless wheels, guarantee you it's going to be 200 grams lighter than the closest clincher wheel, for sure. Guarantee it's going to be a way more comfortable ride than this thing, for sure. Guarantee it's going to be a way more aerodynamic ride than a clincher wheel, for sure. But there is nothing there for it. The price is the same. The weights are almost the same in every application. The setups are the same. You can run whatever it is. It doesn't make any sense to have that on there. So in my personal opinion, for road hookless, it's just not there. It doesn't make no sense to me. But yes, so that was my case. Now for the situation of where I think the industry is going and what applications it works on. So mountain bike and gravel wheels also run hookless, and people always say, well, why I have mountain bike wheels that work so well? I have gravel wheels that work so well. Their inner rim width on there is much wider. The application of what you're pumping that tire up to is much lower. The tires are also heavier, so they're able to go ahead and add a thicker wire bead in there to help that application out. Same with the rims on the mountain bike. They also have a stronger rim wall at the top to go ahead and help with that connection for the hookless rim to that hookless tire. I'm not going to sit there and say that a tire cannot blow off in that situation. I've seen it, but again, it's much less, and it's a better platform for that to work on. I ride mountain bikes with hookless. I ride gravel bikes with hookless, but the tire pressure in my mountain bike is 19 to 20 psi, and the tire pressure in my gravel bike, if I'm riding on the levee, it's 40 psi. If I'm riding on a single track mountain bike, it'll be like 25 psi. And again, less tire pressure in that matter, bigger volume tire, and also wider rim channel. So it allows for that. The thing is with the road bikes, in my opinion, it's such a narrow application and then a narrow application up here that when you're swaying the bike back and forth, it's just so much leverage and so much weight that can come off if you lose a little bit of tire pressure on a flat or something like that. But then again, in the situation of, like I said, you have Team UAE crushing on descents, flying down the streets, going down mountaintops. You have Team Legion taking corners at incredibly high speeds during crit races, performing excellently well on them. And they don't have any issues on them that we have seen of. But those are high-end racers that I feel like those wheels could work a little bit more in their favor because the weight's not there. Whereas with me and my 200 pounds fat ass and a lot of my customers who come in, no offense to my customers, but we're not all 140 pounds. We're around that 200 pound mark. We have to ride this 70 psi. Whereas the average competitive rider, it might be at 62 psi, a little bit lower tire volume there. So, but for the every other day rider that's out there, and they bought these brand new pair of hookless wheels because everyone sees them riding it, like, oh, what tire pressure should I ride? Oh, well, you have to run 72. Well, isn't the max 72? Yes. And then you get in a hot day, you go for a 3-hour ride, those wheels spool up, whatever it is. That's the issue that I come into it. There is no clear-cut benefit to the hookless road wheel on there, in my opinion. That's my take on the situation. This will be my last hookless wheel I do on there. Yes. So, companies still stand by it. Companies still have their research done. I am just a normal bicycle mechanic, bike shop worker. I have no research into these. I have no research in making them. All I have is experiences and customer experiences and relationships with these products I work on. And to give you my first hand-on experience with the products. So, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think on the situation. And I'll see you guys in the next one.